Yo, what's going on, my Twizzy? Today's video will be about Yeat's latest release, returning with his fifth EP entitled Lyfe. If you haven't heard of the kid, Yeat is a young artist coming out from Lake Oswego, Oregon, currently based in LA. He's been one of those artists that's been at the forefront of this current wave of hip hop, primarily in the realm of the style that people have come to popularize as rage beats. His eclectic style is captivating. I'd say he's known for his fun and carefree vocal delivery and mesmerizing synth-heavy production. He's the type of artist that a casual listener or audience would consider a quote mumble rapper, and I would say in some ways that is an accurate depiction. A lot of his vocal delivery is hard to understand, quite literally mumbled in some at some points, but it is a very unique sound. He first hit my radar in about 2021 when he released his debut album, Up to Me. And while his sound is reminiscent of other artists that have come before him, I've seen comparisons to Playboi Carti and the likes of Young Thug in terms of vocal performances. I think that Yeat has managed to stand out and carve out his own niche in this current wave in the mainstream. Lyfe is a total of 12 tracks, sitting at a shorter runtime of about half an hour. And as always, I'll be offering my thoughts and highlights track by track. Here, starting with the first, entitled Flawless, featuring Lil Uzi Vert. The opening track is full of high energy, featuring a big synth chord progression. The song opens up with a simple conversation with accompanying vocal harmonies heard in the background. Once those drums kick in, the synths come in full force with their dramatic tonal progression. The drums are super thick, featuring stuttering kicks and snares, with steady hi-hats to anchor those rhythms down. Accompanying the drums is a deep and crunchy acid-like bass synth, and I'd say it sounds awesome in the mix. This is the only song on the EP to include a featured artist, and I think this is also the first time that Uzi and Yeat have worked together. The result is a fun song with high energy. The vocal chemistry is strong between them, and it's fun to hear them on a song together. One thing about the song that I think falls a bit short is the hook, just because it can be a bit repetitive, but overall it is a catchy song with great vocal melodies sprinkled throughout the verses. Lyrically, there's not much happening here as Uzi and Yeat deliver hyped up bars that sound great in terms of rhymes, flows, and wordplay. Track 2 is entitled Up Off X. This is a crunchy track. It's almost like a cold can of Monster in audio form. This is largely because of the instrumental, which features thick, distorted synth chords. They lay the foundation for the song, with smoother synth timbres providing counter melodies in the foreground later on. They sound like smooth whistles, and they do sound great when juxtaposed with Yeat's vocals. And on that note, Yeat provides wild vocalizations and ad-libs on the song. It's feral energy here, and it works pretty well. It's well contained. The drums are programmed, featuring a subdued kick, claps, and sprinkler-type hi-hats. And lyrically, Yeat flexes his wealth, highlighting the fact that he's a self-made artist. As he puts it on the verse, I made that shit happen, I made it from nothing, and motherfuckers hate that shit. And I know that you broke as a bitch if you got enough time to be hating on shit. I don't give a fuck about no followers. I don't give a fuck about none of this shit. He's very clear that he has no time for distractions, and he's got his eyes on the prize. Track 3 is entitled Out the Way. This is a calmer song than the first two. The tone feels like a cruising tune for a warm late night with all the windows down in the car. The instrumental includes calm synth chord progressions, buzzing bass, and airy pitched-up vocal harmonies in the background. And also in the background accompaniment, we can hear fun synth counter melodies with varying timbres to provide a robust color palette. They almost sound like xylophones, percussive-type hits at some points. The drums here consist of smooth kicks, syncopated stuttering hi-hats, and claps. And lyrically, Yeat touches on his wealth and speaks on his experiences with substance abuse, specifically ecstasy, which he also references in the previous track as well. Track 4 is entitled What It Feel Like. This is a smooth banger that I enjoy a lot. It's grown on me. The background music consists of flutes, gated synth chords, and a deep, crispy synth bass line. I love the timbre of the bass. I really enjoy the sound design there. It's so crispy and thick. It's just the smoothest part of the song. The drums feature thick kicks, stuttering hi-hats, and clean snares on top of that. The sound of the mix is wet and catchy, and I'd say a perfect foundation for Yeat's vocals. Lyrically, he speaks on his feelings towards snitches and discusses the implications of acting like you're a part of a certain life, even though you may not really be a part of that life you claim to be a part of. And track 5 is entitled Got It All. This is another subdued track featuring airy production. The synths are wet with reverb and featuring smooth timbres and a deep 808 buzzing bass to help flesh out that mix. It's pretty wide. These vocals fit the mix pretty well, featuring plenty of reverb on them to create that rich and wide mix that I was referencing. The drums are on the drier side with clean chopped snares and kicks, with syncopated stuttering hi-hats to fill in the grooves. And lyrically, the track features commentary on the naysayers as Yeat reaffirms his star power and maybe ability to stay relevant. He seems to be mocking his haters, especially when he mentions on the chorus, as he puts it, "I heard the kids trying to stop me. Yeah, I touched 2 milli, little bitch. I heard they tried to call God. Bitch, I work with the devil, kid." Almost like he's making fun of anybody who's, I guess, trying to discount his success and his ability to remain relevant. Track 6 is entitled The Can't Stop It. This song switches up the energy for the project, presenting the listener with an interesting grunge-infused track. The drums have organic-sounding samples, especially when it comes to those snares and some of the kicks as well during like the verse-type sections. In the background, there's phased synth chords and crunchy timbres, which are reminiscent of grungy electric guitar tones, though I'm not sure they're actual guitars. I don't know for sure. The mood of the song is melancholic, with Yeat floating on the mix with simple vocal melodies. And lyrically, he flexes weapons and wealth and speaks on his distinct lifestyle, or his distinct style, rather. He notes he's got something that many would like to imitate, that lifestyle that he embodies. As he puts it, yeah, they gon' copy my trend, they gon' copy my sound, they gon' copy the guy. Track 7 is entitled Crank. This song brings the energy back to the project with a distinct palette of sounds. The instrumental features a blend of scratchy and high synth pedal tones, gated liquid-like synths that sound great, and a deep buzzing bass line underneath that. The drums feature a blend of sprinkler hi-hats and sharp snares, with a noticeable lack of kick drums, at least from what I could tell, since it seems like the bass synth handles that role in the song. Yeat showcases his nonchalant attitude here, as he describes traveling around the world with the confidence that comes with knowing that you're just him, you're that guy. A lot of that energy is due to wealth, which he makes sure to mention. And in terms of vocals, I'd say it's a passable performance. Track 8 is entitled Talk. This is quite the banger, and it was the lead single for the EP. The noisy intro features a sample, presumably of kids talking about their experience at a Yeat concert. It's almost like they just caught them while they were on their way out of the venue. It's full of hype and leads the listener directly into the chorus. The color palette here is very captivating, with a blend of fluttering synth chords, moody pedal tones, subtle vocal harmonies acting as instruments, and a deep bass line. The drums consist of syncopated grooves in the hi-hats, and kicks and claps holding steady rhythms to anchor that groove there. I enjoy Yeat's vocal performance here as he provides a varying range of inflections, and the hook is very infectious. And lyrically, he highlights his own star power as he flexes his musical success so far. It's clear he's tapped into the right audience and has created a type of loyalty, so they're on board for the ride. As the song title seems to suggest, he's simply talking his shit here. Track 9 is entitled Come On. This is a mesmerizing track featuring a blend of hypnotic synth arpeggios, a gritty synth bass line, and smooth, subtle synths in the background, providing harmonies for that chord progression. The drums feature fat-ass kicks, claps, and stuttering hi-hats with rides sprinkled in there for flavor. It's a relatively simple instrumental, and yet it's the perfect foundation for Yeat to do his thing. He provides solid melodies and flows to create a fun song, and I enjoy his vocal performance a lot on this one. He's really singing his heart out during that main verse towards the end. But there's no central theme to the song, as Yeat depicts different scenes of his life in the fast lane. Track 10 is entitled System. I would say this is a subdued track and okay B-side. The instrumental consists of interesting pulsing synths and syncopated sliding bass beneath that. The drums feature tiny stuttering hi-hats, claps, and I'm not sure that I can hear any kick drums on the song here. Vocally, Yeat brings fast flows and a staccato approach to the hook of the song, and it makes for a punchy and moody song. Yeat speaks on his drug usage while mixing in themes of intimidation and money. What follows is track 11, Holy One. This might be my personal favorite from the EP. The instrumental is hollow and cold. It feels like a calm snowfall on a chilly day. This is largely because of those airy synth melodies and chords, since their timbres are rich in reverb and short in terms of attack. They're really percussive in the way that they hit in the mix. There are synth arpeggios that make sporadic appearances in the background, adding a good sense of progression and just honestly character and flavor to the song. The drums consist of syncopated kicks, steady claps, and layered approach to those hi-hats, rides, and other overheads. Yeat's vocal delivery feels a lot calmer than what I'm used to, and I think that's what sets the tone in stone for the song. Lyrically, he presents the listener with a larger-than-life depiction of himself and his inner circle, flexing a lavish lifestyle that few can relate to, but many certainly aspire to achieve. I like the way he frames it when he raps. Every time I drop an album, I'm on one now. I can't do no more or less, because I'm the one now. Yeah, always looking behind my back like I got one eye. Bitch, I'm paranoid as fuck. Like, bitch, why wouldn't I be? And finally, track 12 is entitled Killin' 'Em. I'd say this is a somber closing track for this EP. The instrumental has a sad tone, largely due to that chord progression here, and Yeat's vocal harmonies contribute a lot of energy to the song as well. In the background, I can hear what feels like strummed guitar chords, though I'm sure it might be some type of synth. The drums are also steady with a mix of layered overheads, simple kicks, and snares. And lyrically, Yeat takes the track in a more serious direction as he reflects on his current lifestyle and how he has been influenced by his upbringing and what he's seen throughout his life. He is a pretty young guy. And he ruminates on the long-term effects of living a life of crime and indulging in drug usage and substance abuse. The project ends on a much more somber note than I was expecting. And overall, as far as EPs go, I would say that this was decent work. Yeat provides his fans with tunes to keep them engaged, exploring fun soundscapes and themes for his audience to soak in. I know that they are a pretty hungry audience. I'd say some of the tracks here do have the potential to draw in new listeners. I don't consider him to be a pop artist, but I do think he successfully blends different genres and styles to create a unique sound. But he presents those sounds in a way that's pretty easy to digest, which helps explain his quick rise in the charts, and he's been gaining a following pretty quickly. I imagine he's saving a lot of his hard-hitting songs for an upcoming album, which I know is on the way, though we don't know when it's going to be released. And I honestly have to say I do look forward to hearing that album whenever it drops. If I like it enough, I might talk about it here. And if you've sat here and you've listened to me talk about Yeat and his EP Lyfe, I appreciate you doing that. I put a lot of time into these reviews, though it may not seem like it, since I pump them out on a weekly basis. But yeah, I work on them every single day, little by little. And if you have music, or you work on music, or you're really excited about some new music that's coming out, and you want to share that with somebody, you can send that my way. And if you want some feedback, I'm more than happy to provide that as well. And with all that being said, I hope you're having a very wonderful day. Keep yourself hydrated. Keep yourself safe. Peace.